Previously on the $10,000 drag shootout.
This year you got 3 LS turbos and we're the only big block nitrous combo.
Shame you're still gonna get outrun by 290 cubic inches though.
I think they're probably underestimating us.
Hey.
That's how you make well over 1,000 on a stock headed LS.
I know what 1,000 horsepower sounds like. It ain't that.
What would you do if I gave you $10,000 to build the quickest drag car possible in only 10 days? 4 teams, 1 race, 1 winner.
We don't do anything good, we just kind of do everything half-assed. This is the first thing he's done all week.
I want a beer.
I told you I was right. I don't think I hit the right button.
The experience of last year has helped me look at things from a little bit different perspective.
There is so much shit happening right now.
I did it, the car was sliding, so then I backed on.
That's pretty stout.
It made 11 horsepower.
We're not here for a long time. We're only here for a good time.
There's only 2 days left. Midwest Mayhem is sitting pretty with their 79 Cutlass. Team Bigun has been fighting their big block Chevy all week. Finally, after firing their engine, they're just about ready to hit the dyno. The Dream Team's Mustang is starting to take shape, but they still have not fired up their car.
We're a little behind, so a little
Enemies Everywhere has a lot of work to do to make their Camaro a running car. The build is down to the wire for the 3 remaining teams.
Bigun, Lyle, Pete, all you guys. This is Adam from K&N and he's bringing in your base plate for your hood scoop.
Normally, we would cut a hole in here, hook it straight on your Dominator there, and we can either have it go attached to the hood scoop and cut a hole in the hood and have the whole thing attached to the carb and then just have a hole in the hood that it goes right through, or you can actually bolt this up onto the carb and then just have it float inside the scoop there. So really it's kind of whatever you guys want to do.
That's sweet. Well, Adam, thanks for bringing us over. That's going to help them out a bunch. But now I suggest we leave this here and go check out some of the other builds because this thing's cool, but there's 3 other cool cars in here.
None of them have the bitchin' hood scoop on the Granada though.
Team Bigun isn't wasting any time. With the builds coming to an end in less than 48 hours, it's time to push the Moonshine Missile over to the dyno and make sure everything's dialed in and ready for no mercy.
My plan is to make 850 at the crankshaft on motor and make sure everything's working right, and then we'll spray whatever we need to.
The wagon is having serious mechanical issues.
Are you surprised?
The puddle of transmission fluid under the Granada is not a good sign.
I'm so sorry that we were the first to go on the dyno, and I'm so sorry that we were making such a big horsepower number.
I feel really sorry for some of these other teams.
Sometimes you just got to sit back and watch the circus and let them do their thing.
We're nice people.
It's pretty good.
Hey, my birthday, I got a cold. Yeah, we gotta keep trucking, man. We gotta get it done.
With only 2 days left, the Dream Team is finally on pace to finish their car.
Everybody did their job and honestly made my job easier.
My team was adamant to use the 85. We went with the 85 because the team all wanted it, no intercooler in the 85, and I think that requires some more compression. We also seen with good gas, some more compression made a huge difference in the power.
Two of the teams are running X85 fuel from VP Racing. It's a pretty slick fuel. It's not your regular E85 you buy at the pump for a number of different reasons, but the biggest reason is instead of 15% pump gas, it's got 15% race fuel mixed in with oxygenated ethanol. Really good fuel. That's the reason two teams are using it.
Smash the loud pedals, wop, 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 wop. So start dancing around, bump, bump, and then pow, lightning.
Their Turbo LS power plant fired right up on the first try, without a single issue. Looks like the chassis dyno is gonna be crowded.
We want to run it through gears, we want to check bump box, check trans brake.
We came in this ready to dominate. We know what that engine combo is gonna do exactly.
It made a pull, so I applaud them. Their engine builder took his finger, swiped both sides of one downpipe, and smelled it. I think he's got advanced techniques that we haven't caught on to yet.
Well, we're just about done all the fab work and we're just doing the final touches on the wire and getting it make it look nice and getting ready to start it up.
While we're like thrashing our rings out trying to get the car done, Kevin's off helping other teams. You know, and we're like, when he comes back over, I said, why don't you just off and go help everyone else, mate? He said, I have been. I went, that's the problem, you idiot.
You know, somebody actually got to work under it.
That'll be a change, wouldn't it? Make sure you do a lot of filming of this guy because it's the first thing he's done all week.
Nathan, have you got water in it yet?
We've got this shit show on the road.
Fucking over here.
Shake it all out there.
Shaking it.
After spending some time diagnosing the Granada's low horsepower number, it looks like the Turbo 400 transmission was dragging the engine down. The team has to pull the transmission out, get it apart, and see what's going on inside.
Now, is their combo capable of making more horsepower? It is, but I don't think they are.
Midwest Mayhem is putting the finishing touches on the Cutlass. With safety equipment from Summit Racing on board and an EFI system from Holley, their car is shaping up to be a nice little hot rod.
I wired up a button right here on the steering wheel. Normally, I'm not about scrambles, which adds boost if you need it later on in the run. But with the Holley, you can configure it to be your staging button also, and then later on you can configure it to something else. And so it'll be your bump in button, but also a scramble later on. So that if somebody gets ahead of you, which they won't, so if they do, you can add more power, more boost with that.
Are we coming with us? We're gonna go in and out.
We'll get some double doubles. It's a blue moon.
Blue moon?
With some tuning adjustments, the Dream Team is ready to crank up the boost and see how much power their LS can make.
So the first pull was just to make sure everything run at RPM. That looked like great. Gio says we're gonna do one more, just a mild tune-up in it, make sure we get it to pull some real RPM, see what it does. This time it's gonna eat. This time we should be doing some real nice.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back.
I know exactly what that car has. We're in good shape.
Gio had worked on the calibration a couple days before, and yeah, we just executed it.
All in all, it's going to be a very strong combo out there.
Got oil pressure. It's full, Ross.
Lucas. The transmission fluid choice of champions.
I'm pretty confident our LS is going to make the power needed to shake everything up.
Enemies everywhere finally got the 4th gen Camaro to fire up. Now it's their chance to dial in the car on the dyno and make sure their combo is ready for the race. It was clear the transmission did not have high gear. The engine sounded solid, but without 3rd gear, they don't have a race car.
I guess we were getting pretty excited coming up to the dyno, and we were walking around a bit like peacocks once we got it going. Like, it sounded like it was going to go pretty hard, and the figures weren't there, and we were sort of a bit dejected today.
It's the last day. After 9 days of thrashing, it all comes down to these final hours.
Day 10, we're still done with the car.
Enemies everywhere aren't the only team under pressure with their transmission. Bigun has been thrashing to figure out what's going on with their Turbo 400.
Considering our transmission was in pieces and then not knowing what to do, I mean, I was lost. Fell on my shoulders because I put the training together, and felt responsible, to get it figured out.
Just get the training cross member in.
Man, as soon as we seen that pressure, I was so relieved.
We fired the motor and we have training pressure. Do you know if it's the right pressure?
It seems that way. See something in the valve body. We plugged it up and just fired it up, and it's got 200 pounds of pressure. So.
I know you guys have been fighting that, so it's awesome that it's together. What's the plan?
Back it on the dyno right now.
Team Bigun has just enough time for one more dyno session to test the transmission. It's do or die time for Team Bigun. They've struggled with their Granada in more ways than one. If they can't make a solid dyno pull before the time runs out, they may not be able to recover.
It sounded pretty good. A lot of dogs are all barking, no bite. We can get some data at least.
I think that
I think that tells us everything.
I think they like that.
What's your guys' plan as far as the next pole? Are you going to hit it with spray? Yeah, spray on the next pole. Okay.
Now that the team is confident in their drivetrain, it's time to spray the house down and make sure the big block will hold.
Fixing to see what kind of numbers big block power on nitrous really makes. Oh yeah.
That looks pretty good.
Team Bigun struggled all 10 days of the build, but with nearly 1,000 horsepower under their belt, all that's left is the race.
So it seemed fitting to have the mullet machine on the dyno and then have mullet Eric.
You can't come watch an F-Bike without a mullet.
He's got a point, a very good point. So I mean, they're trying to start it. I mean, hell shit, America.
I need to ride with him. I mean, get a fire right up.
Enemies is forced to unstrap the Camaro. There's no reason for Enemies to stay on the dyno without a functioning transmission. The team will have to repair the transmission during the race in Georgia. They're out of time.
Translate works in second, but it doesn't work in the first properly now.
We've got minimal transmission experience, and it's probably a little bit foolish to think that we're going to pull it off easily. But you know, we'll regroup and learn what we have to do to fix it up and get it ready for Georgia.
Here, round the sky, reshapes forever. Let's meet two new friends who like pain nights. Yeah, my friends.
10 seconds left on the clock for the builds of the $10,000 drag Shootout of Horsepower Wars. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it.
The Dream Team earned extra money in competitions, but they still went over budget. Team Bigun struggled with their Granada wagon, but in the end, their big block made the most horsepower. Enemies Everywhere still has a lot of work to do to make their 4th Gen Camaro ready for the race. And Midwest Mayhem spent the least amount of money on their Turbo LS Cutlass.
Never control. You can dance. Do it again. It's a matter of numbness. Matter of dumbness.
Keep it simple, stupid. You get 10 days and $10,000. You don't want to overcomplicate things. At the end of the day, it's a competition.
Teams need to learn how to play the game. Play the game good. I think you end up good in the drag race. It's all a game.
It's in your blood and you can't change it. There's plenty of ups and downs in motorsport, and it's just another part of the game.
I don't care how much horsepower you make, how much faster you are. If you're the #1 qualifier and you're running the number 16 qualifier and he's a little small block with a little dope on it, you are at a disadvantage. I know how to play this game. It's my 7 seconds, and I'm going to do with it what I want.
time on the $10,000 drag shootout.
The builds are done, and these drag cars are on their way to South Georgia Motorsports Park for no mercy. It all comes down to this: one race to see who wins their car and $10,000. This is the $10,000 drag. $10,000 is what? $10,000 drag.